We are in North Toronto, and my clients, Jane and Joe, live here with their 2 teenage kids, and it's a very busy house. The clients brought me on initially to renovate their primary ensuite on the 2nd floor. And then once I finished that, I must have passed the test, because then they invited me to help them with renovating the back end of this house. The kitchen was probably 20 years old, and it was definitely ready for a refresh. Because the previous space was quite dark and dated, they were definitely looking for something that they can really enjoy today, but that would be beautiful for years to come. After really looking at their requirements and how they wanted to use the space, I really felt that we would be able to use the existing square footage and give them the space that they needed. So a big part of that process was changing the peninsula approach to an island that would seat everyone. They have 4 people in their family, so I wanted to make sure that the island was suitable to that. And I also really love having ample space between the refrigerator wall and the island, the cooktop and the island. One of the updates that we did was widening the opening and as well raising the ceiling to the entrance from the front of the house to the back. Prior to that, it was almost like a door size opening, so it was quite small, where this, just by increasing the width by about 20 inches or so and taking it to the ceiling, dramatically improved the view, and I think it's really one of the game changer items that we did. For the design color, we went with the white, and that really stemmed from selecting the stone on the counters. We didn't want to do all white, so on the lower cabinets, as well as the island and the millwork that runs across to the back of the house, we chose Thunder from Benjamin Moore. It's a really beautiful shade of gray with a warm and cool undertone. So it's a really unique color in the sense that it really works well with both the warm and the cool. I created a couple of appliance garage stations, and so it's a great place to house your smoothie station, your toaster, and whatever else you need. The backsplash is a 4x4 porcelain tile. It has got variations of white and gray in it, and it offers a little bit of texture, so I think it worked out super well. We did black finishes with the pendant lighting and the plumbing fixtures, but to add some additional layer, we included some brass in the hardware, as well as the detailing on the vent hood, and some of the other finishes in terms of accessories as well. The millwork at the back of the house is very special. I love that we incorporated the full length, and in fact, right across this entire wall, there's a bulkhead that's behind it. So I carried the millwork up to the very top, concealing that, and I think that really elevates the height of the space, which is terrific. I didn't really want it to look so kitcheny, because it was essentially in the family room area. So I did a combination of different styles and included some glass as well as the ash wood tone in the interior behind the glass. So I think that's quite lovely. But the reality is, behind those cabinets that are enclosed, it's a pantry, there's a broom, there's a vacuum, there's a lot of stuff back there. And there's actually a pipe that I'm hiding behind there as well. I also included a black metal inlay design on the cabinets that run floor to ceiling, as well as 3 sides of the island. Makes it a little bit more interesting. The clients had a table right behind me, and they really found year over year that they weren't really using it to sit down and have dinner at and meals at. Typically what they were doing was sitting at the peninsula or in their dining area in the front of the house. We were able to remove that, and I created a bar area, something that you can start your morning off with coffee and end the day off with a glass of wine. There was additional storage that we built into the bar as well, and we made it a wet bar so it can actually be used as an alternate prep space in the kitchen if there was a lot of activity happening. Of course, this family room gets used quite a lot. The TV was off-center to the seating area, so it wasn't ergonomically a great solution for them. They wanted to keep the existing fireplace and just make it more interesting. So what I did was built a fireplace surround, floor to ceiling, that would be a little bit interesting but soft because you're only so many feet away from it, so we didn't want anything too jarring. We needed to house the TV on there, so I used the Samsung frame to get some artwork on there instead of a black box. I left a 1-inch reveal between the different slats to offer a little bit of interest. And I wanted to incorporate storage hidden behind one of the upper slats. There you'll find the AV equipment, exactly where they belong, behind the cabinetry, wherever possible. One of the first things I wanted to do in designing the floor plan is incorporate a chaise into the window area that had some nice soft curves that was super comfortable because it is something that, practically speaking, folks are sitting at and wanting to enjoy. Another design element is the shaped area rug, and I think that this is much more interesting than doing your typical square or a rectangle. And upon entering into the back of the house, you really do see that shape, and I think it's quite interesting. In terms of texture, instead of doing your typical drywall, this wall behind me here, we use a linen textured vinyl wallpaper. And so it's super practical, but that subtleness really adds, I think, a finished look to the space. The stool underneath the shelving area is a nice textured as well. And all the other upholstery, we use performance fabrics to make sure that it would look as good today while we're doing this shoot as it would in years to come. The clients initially brought me in to renovate their primary ensuite. It was your typical 15, 20-year-old bathroom. It was dark and dated, and it just needed an update. One of the first things we did was install a pocket door, and that allowed me to install a linen cabinet with a laundry drawer. And because the shower was so close to the entrance, we also did a glass sliding door into the shower. So the removal of those swing elements were good decisions for that particular space. We replaced the window with an energy efficient one and also did a black trim detail on it. And in front of that, we added a freestanding tub. Although we incorporated a white vanity and a white tub, we warmed up the space by including a beautiful chevron flooring in a wood tone. It's a porcelain tile, but it really does warm up the space, and use that same color for the millwork on the open concept shelves and the trim detail around the mirrors, as well as the linen cabinetry. I know the clients are really, really delighted with the end result, both in terms of the primary ensuite and this entire kitchen family room area. They love it, and I know that they've hosted parties because I was at one of them. And it's always lovely to see the space walking into it because there's so much that goes into getting to this point.